A showdown is in the works between mayors in sanctuary cities and federal immigration authorities after Donald Trump's victory on Election Day. Mayors in at least 7 major U.S. cities have reaffirmed their commitments to shelter illegal immigrants after Trump said he would block federal funding for sanctuary cities. Some believe Houston is one of more than 300 sanctuary cities and counties across the country. Sanctuary city policies tend to vary, but typically local police refrain from helping federal authorities identify undocumented immigrants from deportation unless they have committed serious crimes. Billions of dollars could be at stake for these cities. So should this stay in the hands of local authorities, or do you think the president-elect should crack down on immigration and sanctuary cities? That's our topic this half hour, and we want to hear from you on our Fox 26 Facebook page as well as Twitter. Be sure to send me a tweet at Sally Mack, Fox 26, or you can use our hashtag Fox 26 Roundup. Joining us live in the newsroom is our senior legal analyst, Chris Tritico, Democratic media consultant, Mustafa Tamiz, and Republican strategist and public policy analyst, Jackie Valley. Good morning again.
Good morning.
All right, so Houston typically doesn't identify as a sanctuary city, but many here believe we are one.
Well, the problem with this sanctuary cities, as they've been called, is typically been that when the cities participate with the federal government in identifying illegal immigrants, they end up housing them in their county jails, waiting for the federal government to act and come and pick them up, and they end up holding these people for an extended period of time. In the city of Houston, we house a whole lot of people already, overcrowding in our county jail. What do we do with people that we're holding for the federal government when the federal government isn't acting to come and pick them up? That's been the policy. That's been the problem, Mustafa Tamiz. Now the president-elect says, I'm going to withhold federal funds from you if you don't help us in rounding up illegal immigrants. What are we supposed to do with the people we're holding if the federal government isn't going to act quickly to come and get them?
Well, there are two things with this. One, if on the one hand, he says that there should be state control on many of the issues. So on the life issue, it should be state control. But on immigration, he wants to enforce it on a federal basis at a local level. This is a dangerous policy. Think about that. If you're sitting and eating in a restaurant, you could see police officers or some kind of an armed force coming in, going to the kitchen to try to take people out of that. Or if you're stopping somebody on a freeway, if there's an accident, people take off because they're worried about their immigration status. This is not just dangerous talk. He's talking about deporting 2 to 3 million people, and it would be maybe 500,000 to 1 million folks here in this area.
But what about my question? What do we do if the city of Houston says, fine, we will identify these illegal immigrants, we'll hold them in our jail, but what do we do if the federal government doesn't act quickly enough? Where do we house all of these people?
Well, I think what the president-elect is saying is that if he actually does get cooperation with the mayors and local entities, that he will bring the resources to act quickly to get the illegals out. I think that the biggest problem is you have a lot of these mayors, and we saw they had press conferences. They are saying, look, we know these people came in here illegally, but we're still going to protect them. I think the biggest hurdle that our president-elect is going to have is that you have so many people who are used to having people come in here illegally, not obeying the law, and he's saying, look, I want to enforce the laws. These people are here illegally. Let's get them out. But the mayors are saying we're going to still protect these illegals.
Real quick.
This rhetoric sounds really good, but this is a dangerous policy. We have over 11.5 million people living in this country, and in a state like Texas, if you try to do some kind of deportation, it will be devastating to our economy.
Let me go to Sally. She's monitoring our social media.
Okay, we're going to go first to a tweet from our governor, Greg Abbott. A state senator filed a bill this week, an anti-sanctuary city bill, basically forcing cities to cooperate with federal laws. And the governor says he strongly supports it and expects to sign it into law. This is a retweet talking about Rahm Emanuel, the mayor in Chicago, assuring illegals that they're safe. And this person's asking, how's the safety of the city's legal residents? And then this viewer was asking our new Houston police chief, will you assist ICE in workplace raids and other methods of detaining immigrants that don't involve them breaking laws? And our new police chief says we have a singular focus on individuals who commit violent and property crime regardless of their immigration status. He's been outspoken about this issue several times.
And that what he's talking about is the separation there. It's not his jurisdiction. What the chief is saying, the new chief is saying, it's not my jurisdiction to go and enforce federal law. It's my jurisdiction is to enforce state law these violent crimes, that's what I'm supposed to be enforcing.
Yes, and the chief is correct. I think what we are saying is that we would like for all of our officials to enforce the laws. He calls it rhetoric. I said these are laws in place. There are laws for people to come into this country legally. These people came into the country illegally. Something needs to be done. So yes, the chief is correct. He can only enforce certain laws within his borders. But if our officers actually enforce the laws that are on the books, current laws, we would not be having this discussion at all.
That would mean that they would stop somebody for giving a speeding ticket and then put the cuffs on them and try to deport that person. This is the same thing as Obamacare. They gin up their base about something that's untenable. And in this case, they're ginning up on their base about deporting, mass deportations in the United States that they're not going to be able to do. And then public policy starts to fall apart and people lose confidence in government.
What about the idea of President-elect Trump saying, I'm going to withhold federal funds from cities that say we're not going to follow this policy? He doesn't. Does he have the authority? Does he have the ability?
I don't really know if he has that authority. I think what he is saying is, look, people, do your job. I mean, I don't understand why this is so difficult. We have laws in place. Adhere to those laws. Follow the laws. Do your job.
Give me 30 seconds.
That's the thing. They don't know how to do something, and then they want people to do it. When you're an authority, when you're the president of the United States, loose talk creates tremendous problems, and this is what Donald Trump is doing.
It's not loose talk to say follow the laws. These people need to stop coming here illegally.
All right, we're going to leave it right there. We'll be back in about 15 minutes to talk about the Trump transition, but right now you can join us on Facebook Live for a behind-the-scenes talk.
All right, I'm sure our viewers have lots of questions for you guys. Good discussion as always. Thanks.